It's time to test your trigger control. Today we're going to bring your trigger control that we worked on at home in the Perfect Press video. We're going to bring those skills to the range. This is where we get to test the perfect trigger control that we really liked. Out of the 3 different ways to pull the trigger, we're going to put that to the test on the range. This is also the place where you can try the other trigger controls that you didn't like as much, but it's still good to test them. We can put those on paper now. We're going to be at 5 yards for these drills, and as always, before we live fire, we're going to dry fire it. There's no round count limit to this. It's whatever takes you the amount of rounds in order to make it happen, in order to do it correctly and perfectly and to your satisfaction. You're testing yourself, you're pushing yourself. For the first drill, we're going to be using the Stripe Target. I like to think of this drill as like 1A and 1B because they kind of go hand in hand, and we're using the same target for both. So we're going to focus first on the vertical stripe, okay? The vertical stripe is going to test our trigger control on the left to right deviation. We are going to be only shooting one shot, which means we're dry firing once. We're going to create our stance. We're going to make sure our gun is unloaded, nothing to feed it, nothing in its mouth. Nothing to feed it, nothing in its mouth. Okay? We're going to create our grip, and then we're going to forget about our grip and our stance. And we're just going to focus on trigger control. Okay? We're going to work from the hand clap position. We're going to preset out. Shoot or dry fire one time and return to hand clap. Okay? Pick anywhere on that vertical stripe to aim. Okay? And then use the trigger control you like best and press. This is not a fast drill. Take as much time as you want. We are looking to see if there's any left to right deviation when we pull the trigger. Good. Okay? When you're ready, you can go live. I like press, so that's the trigger control I'm going to be using. Well, that was perfect. That was perfect too. Dang, right on it. I'm a little impressed with myself, being able to do that on command. Okay, this is also a place where you can pick a different part of the stripe in order to see if you like a different trigger press than what you currently dry fired and tested. So I'm going to use slap, and I'm going to go a little bit further down the stripe. Okay. There's a little bit more deviation and up and down deviation with the slaps for me, but I know that I like press and they are all touching each other. So you could be pushing the gun with your finger as you're pulling the trigger, or you could be pulling the gun with your finger as you're pulling the trigger. This vertical stripe helps show you if you're pulling straight back. That is so important. After you've tested and you've proven what you like, and also to see if there's any left to right deviation and everything's good to go, we can just slide on over to the horizontal stripe. Now we've moved on to 1B, the horizontal stripe. So on this one, we're going to dry fire it first. Again, it's going to be one shot per. So let's unload the gun. Okay. Nothing to feed it, nothing in its mouth. Nothing to feed it, nothing in its mouth. Okay. One shot, okay? Now this is going to show us if we are moving the gun like that. So this is called palming the gun. We're pushing our palm into the gun as we're pulling the trigger. That's what this is going to show us. So that's going to be an up. So if your shot goes high, it could be you palming. If your shots are going low, it could be you shoving the gun down with your trigger all at the same time as you're pulling that shot. So that's the up and down deviation we're looking for. Okay, we're gonna go out and we're ready. We're gonna dry fire pull straight back, maintain our grip, don't move. Okay. I know it sounds silly, but that's some of the best advice, is just don't move. When you're ready, go ahead and load your gun. And this is another part where you can test the different trigger controls, the different ways to press. You can choose different spots on the line to test the 3 different ways to do it. Okay, I'm going to aim right in the middle, and I'm going to be doing the prep press. Good. Good. Okay, I'm slowly climbing up. Okay, I'm going to focus straight. Good. All right, I'm going to try the surprise break now, and I'm going to do that to the right side of that line. Okay. That looked good. Okay, a little bit low, but still touching the white. Okay, that was good again. All right, there was no up and down movement, which is good. I'm not palming the gun and I'm not shoving the gun as I'm pulling that trigger. That's good. In our second drill, we're going to be using the Stripe Target. This is a really cool target I designed. It has a 3-inch circle. It's the big 3-inch circle in blue. Then we have a 1-inch circle in white, and then my little star in the middle. So we're going to be aiming at that star for every shot. There's 4 circles on there, but we're going to be choosing the top one first, and then we can work our way down. So if you want to get good at like all 3 of the trigger presses, this is a really cool target to use, where you can mark and say, okay, the top one I'm going to do prep press, the bottom left the middle left I'm going to do slap, and the right I'm going to do surprise break. This is where you can really refine both of those, all of them together. Or you can simply just work on keeping the whole trigger control together. So that's what we're going to do on this one, is that I already know which trigger press I like. I know I can do the other trigger presses, but I know what works best for me. We're going to complete the trigger press. We worked on the left to right deviation, and then separately we worked on the up and down deviation. This is where we put it all together now, to make sure we don't have any deviation whatsoever. So we're going to make sure our gun is unloaded. This is going to be a 1-shot drill. Nothing to feed it, nothing in its mouth. Nothing to feed it, nothing in its mouth, okay? Create your stance, grip, forget about those now. Present out, all right? Focus on that perfect press. Okay, I want to hit that star real bad, so I'm going to take all the time it takes in order to do that. Okay, prep, press. Prep, press. Okay, when you're ready, go ahead and load up. Okay, we're looking for any deviation whatsoever. We're going to focus on pulling it straight back, not moving. Relax. When you're ready, go ahead, present, and fire. Dang! I hit that star perfectly. I don't want to shoot any other shots now because I did it right. Okay, you can do it again and see if there's any other deviation. Okay, it was in the white. Yeah, star again. Okay, I feel good. I'm just gonna take a break from this because I don't want to overdo it. There is such thing as overdoing it, is when you're doing it correctly time and time again, is you've got it. You don't want to overdo it, because then you could possibly be adding in bad habits. And we don't want bad habits. So if you're doing it right time and time again, don't keep doing it because you need to give your brain and your body a break to digest what it feels like. That's going into your subconscious, what it feels like, what it looks like. So do it until you're like, okay, I feel like I want to start doing something else. Like your body wants to jerk or your eyes want to blink or close. Stay calm, let it go, let it rest. The star strike target, I'm within the white, I'm touching the blue star in the center. I feel good about that. Now, if I had shot some shots that were outside of that white, I would look and see where those shots were and adjust my trigger press according to that. It's the same thing if you're using the other trigger presses as your main way to press the trigger. If you see any deviation outside of that little circle, that little white circle with the star in it, look at it and digest. What does that mean? What am I doing? Am I seeing it in my sights? Am I feeling it as I pull that trigger? Digest it, fix it. For our third drill, we are going to be using the precision progress target. This is very exciting because the circles get smaller. This is almost kind of like playing a game with yourself, is how precise can I be? We're going to be 5 yards like we did with the other drills, okay? And we're going to go from a 3-inch circle to a 2-inch down to a 1-inch circle. That 1 inch is real tiny, so it's going to take so much focus with our trigger control in order to make sure that press is perfect. So we're going to do this one shot at a time. Let's dry fire it first. We're going to start from largest to smallest. Okay? Nothing to feed it, nothing in its mouth, nothing to feed it, nothing in its mouth. Okay? Present out and press. Okay? I felt good, so I'm going to go to the 2-inch circle. Present out and press. That felt good too. Moving on to the 1-inch. Present out and press. Good. Okay. Now I'm ready. I'm going to load up. I'm going to give it a shot. All right. So, I mean, I didn't hit the dead center of the 3-inch circle, but it's within the 3-inch circle margins. So that means I can move on to number 2, this 2-inch circle. Okay. Again, it's not perfectly centered, but it's within the margins of the 2-inch circle. All right, I feel good. Let's move on to the 1-inch. Good. All right, so I have hit all 3 circles. Yay! That means my trigger press is good. I feel solid. The trigger feels solid. That means that it's showing up on paper. What I'm feeling is showing up on paper. What's happening back here is the same as down there. If you're feeling a little spunky, you can move it back from 5 yards and you can go to 7 or 10 or how many it takes for you to not hit that target, the 1-inch circle. If you're feeling extra spunky, you can add a part-time on there. This is a really cool tool to use to test your precision as well as adding speed, adding distance, adding other elements to add that pressure, because your trigger control is going to be one of the first things that break down under pressure. Go ahead and add those pressured elements once you've got it down solidly. Meaning you can do the 3, 2, 1 multiple times in a row. If you feel like you're struggling during these drills, that's okay. You're just starting it. If you need to go back and watch the perfect press video, go ahead and do that. Take a break from the range, go home, watch perfect press, dry fire, and then come back out another day and test again. This is a time suck. This is going to take so much time and effort effort and practice and work. Don't feel bad if you can't do it on your first try. It took me years in order to figure it out and do it right every time. And even to this day, when I have an extra hard target in a high pressured competition, I still struggle. That's okay. That is why we train. That's why we practice. That's why we dry fire. That is why we watch these videos in order to better ourselves.